Hi everyone, it's Angie here at Beads and Plenty More, and today I thought I'd talk about Dreamcatchers. So I'll just talk about what I've got on the mat here. I have a 4-inch Dreamcatcher ring, which I've wrapped in suede lacing, and I've cut about 2.5 meters of suede lacing, which allows me to wrap the ring, and I've got some left over for my tails on the ring, on the Dreamcatcher. And I've taken it, wrapped it, and then I've glued my ends, and I've had the temporary little end here holding it until it dried. So I did a little bit of prep work because I wanted to be able to show you how to do the web. Then I've got imitation sinew here. I have the dark brown, but it comes in lots of colors. Now when this is first on the spool, it's quite thick. It looks more like a ribbon. And I've taken it and I've just shredded down a piece that I know that I can get beads on and so on. So that's what this is here. And I've got a couple meters already done for me. Then I've got just an assortment of beads. I decided I was just going to go random with my beads, and I've got an assortment of larger hold beads that will work for my tail ends later. So to get started, I'm just going to grab the tail end here of this sinew, and I'm just going to secure it in up near where my top of my ring is. So I'm just going to basically just tie it in here. So I've slipped it in between the suede lacing so that it sits there nice and tight. And I'm just going to tie a knot here. And then I'm ready to get started. So I'm going to work off to the right here, and I'm not going to do my web too tight because I actually want to get to the next step and show you the next step. So I'm going to give myself a couple inches there. And what I've done is I've gone around the top of the ring to the back, and then I've come through my loop. So we'll do that again. Secure it in where I want it from the top, and then through the loop. And that just slipped off. So right in there, and then through that loop. And pull it nice and tight. We'll get it around to the beginning again, and then we can talk about how to move to the next step of the web. I'm sure my hands are right in the way when you're looking, but I'll try. Okay, so we're coming back to the beginning here. I think at this point I'm just going to continue on to the next row. So I am going to come down that first one there. So I'm in between the suede lacing and the sinew here from the first row. And then I'm going to come back up this loop that I'm creating here. And we'll just pull it nice and tight. So what it'll do is it'll pull that first one in, and it'll create the beginning of the web. So I'm going to slip a bead on now. I'm just grab one of these guys. So the beads are a great way to customize, personalize your Dreamcatcher here, because you can do maybe someone's birthstone, or you can do their favorite color. You can also add charms in if you think a charm would maybe suit your person better. So you can incorporate their hobby or their favorite things. So that bead is now just going to float on there until I get around to the next row, and then I can decide if I need it on the left side of my loop or the right side of my loop. So this is going to continue around, and you just keep going and catching each of them until you get to the center. So when I get to the center, I'll start the video again and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've made it to the middle of my hoop here, or my ring here. Now you can see that these ones that are sitting on the outside are moving still. The ones that got closer to the middle are moving a lot less because there's a lot less string there. So when it comes to ending this off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along to my next one in my circle here. Stitch down through it, create the loop the same way I've been doing them all along. So there's my loop. Now, before I get that super tight, I'm going to loop around one more time. And it's going to create more of a knot. So I'm just going to pull that to where I want it. And then I'm going to pull all the extra out. That's going to create a little knot there. So I'm going to loop one more time through that to create one more knot. So this is the same one that I was working on. And I'm just going to come through my loop that I've created there, just to anchor it in place. Now what I would do is I'd take a bit of glue and I'd glue that knot before I cut my extra off. So I'm not going to cut it super tight right now. And I will glue that knot and get it to the glue to dry before I move on with actually cutting my extra tails off. So now it comes to doing some little ties off the bottom. So I've got taking the extra cording that I have, and I'm just going to cut it in half because I think I'll do 2 ties off the bottom. Move this up so you can see. So I'm just going to find the center of my cord here, and then I'm going to come down through it and through my loop that I create. So this is a 1/2 hitch knot here. And we'll do another one on the other side here. So down and through the loop that I create. So got my 2 tails coming off, and now I'm ready to figure out what I want to do for beads and feathers. So I've got some white feathers here. Just pull a few out here. Of course, they're varying lengths, so you want to maybe sort through them a little bit to figure out what you've got for feathers and lengths and so on. I'm going to put probably a nice little metal bead at the top here. And maybe if I can find one of the, yeah, that one looks like it has a pretty large hole. I'll maybe put one of the pony beads on too. So I've got glass pony beads here. And I'll just tie an overhand knot up high here. So those are actually sitting on there pretty tight, but if you think there's any chance they're going to move, I would put a little bit of glue. I usually use the E6000 when I'm working with Dreamcatchers, And so just put a bit of glue and then slide the bead over it, and it'll just sit there. And then down at the bottom here, thread on whatever beads that I want. Oh, that's maybe Christmassy. And then once I've got the beads on that I want, I'm just going to slip the feather up. And again, use a bit of glue to hold them in place. And that's basically all you need to know to make a dream catcher. So, hope you enjoyed that and have a good day.